Hey, good evening, everyone. Bill finds the most generic jingles, so that part's actually kind of pretty nice. I'll tell you, no matter how many of these YouTube shows I have done, the beginnings are always pretty awkward. Like, what do you say when you're talking into the YouTube void? But we'll go ahead and get started. So I appreciate you guys joining us today for this collector conversation. Basically, Bill and Kazra are running around at it's an illustration con. I think it's IX, or I think that's what it's called. I don't know the illustration cons too well. Just kind of seeing what's there, doing the recruiting, doing the OEX commercials and everything for everyone there, plus enjoying themselves. So they asked us as the collectors to kind of take over tonight and bring back collector conversations. Of course, there's a little bit of an evolution of the collector conversations. Larry's been doing them too, and he's been doing a fantastic job. So I kind of borrowed a couple points from Larry. And we actually have a couple things from an agenda perspective. I think you guys will enjoy it. We will have a Slido. It's going to be an experimental Slido. Everyone likes to experiment. That's what I've heard. The challenge, you can expect probably multiple technical difficulties because it wouldn't have been a show with me on it without technical difficulties. But let's go ahead and get started. So I will bring in today's panelist guests. We've got Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. Hello.
We have...
Greetings to the void.
I know, right? We have Jill. Hey, Jill.
Hello. What's happening?
We have Mr. CGR.
Howdy, how's it going?
Hey, Rob. And then we have our beautiful hair rocker, George. So,
hey, you guys, I got to represent with the hair. So
I know. Let me. Yeah, you and Jill will hold us down for hair tonight. Yeah, well, you got a little bit of the beard, Jeff. You'll be all right.
Jeff and I are not doing so hot on the hair side of things.
No, I'd have to get the gray out of that in order for it
to
really...
I appreciate you leaving me out of that one, but I think I joined that club.
You guys look great.
Well, good. Well, so here's going to be the agenda. There's going to be 3 parts. The first part, we're going to do kind of a traditional collector conversation. We have a number of topics that are curated. A couple things on the topics. I let all the panelists know if there's something in particular that you'd like to address that maybe one of the topics that I brainstormed earlier, we can shift to that. If there's anyone in the chat who has a particular topic, definitely let us know as well. I will tell you now, before someone writes it, we're not going to cover blacklisting artists. I think that was the big original art Facebook chat today. So as far as I'm concerned, all the artists are blacklisted, and let's get the art for cheap. But no, we're not going to cover blacklisting artists or anything along those today. After the collector conversation portion, we do have all of our art picks. So there will be 20 art picks, just like any other week. Oh, sorry. I got Rob.
Hey.
I didn't see you, Rob. I had to scroll down.
And suddenly our hair doesn't look so cool anymore.
I know, like
dominating there.
More than all of us combined.
Sorry, man.
So we have our 20 art picks today. Jeff, Jill, Rob, and Rob R. and George picked those from the last week. So we'll highlight those. Rob's Wolvie fans, lazy ass, and let me know if he's going to be on this panel. So he didn't get to pick anything, but he does have some art to show off. And then at the very, very end, we're going to try something with Slido. I have a 10-question comic art trivia contest. You enter it, there'll be leaderboards, there'll be a winner, and the winner has a prize. So the first thing I want to do in the chat is I'll let you guys pick the prize. So let me go and pin me real quick. I don't know how to do that.
Oh, is it a boat?
No, I'm not going to pin me. So it's going to be a sketch card. So let's go ahead and pick what sketch card we want to do. So I've got a Juggernaut by Roger Cruz. I have a Red Sonja by Joyce Chin. I have a Scarecrow by Jeff Loeb. I have a Superman by Klaus Janson. All right. And then I have a Rachel by, anyone know who that is?
Dang.
So I think most people are going to vote in the chat for Jeff Loeb, but Rachel by Art Adams. So that will be the winner of the contest. Will get to pick what sketch card they want.
Or you can pick one of the 6 of us to draw you a sketch card.
That's always an option. That's always an option.
Any Oranga, always a popular request.
All right. Well, I guess we'll kind of kick it off. So again, from a list of topics I said, I wanted to start out with something that we've seen. If you know Michael Browning, he does the recaps of all the various auctions. And one of the things that started a collector conversation, I guess you can say, within the Facebook chat is supply and demand. Is there auction fatigue? Is there buying opportunity fatigue? Are there enough collectors right now to sustain, kind of the prices that we were seeing? And we've all seen price growth, but we've also seen, peaks and valleys when it comes to a lot of the auctions out there, especially the non-HA auctions. But it comes over to the HA auctions too, where premium pieces at premium prices, non-premium pieces at sometimes some steals, right? Or sometimes things are hidden. So I'll kind of open up to you guys. Don't have to take turns. You can talk over each other. I lost someone. Oh,
You lost
Wolfie
Wolfie.
fan.
Wolver,
Yeah. He's in Florida, man. He got hit by a tornado. We're almost. So start with that. I mean, we'll who does a lot of auction? Start with Jeff. Go for it, man. What do you think? What are your thoughts on the supply and demand aspect of the hobby right now, and some of the trends that we're seeing?
So for me and my focus, which most folks know is Star Wars, there are plenty of fish out there in the Star Wars sea. My wallet only has a certain limit. And with the Tom Palmer estate going through Heritage and them doing anywhere from 3 to 7 pieces a week, I just can't keep up with what's out there. So part of it is fatigue and budget burnout on my end. Although there's plenty of other Star Wars collectors out there. So I think we've seen a little dip in prices just because there's less people competing on any given auction item. But still plenty of folks out purchasing things. So I think the hobby's healthy. I think it is a bit of a market adjustment. Speaking from my own personal case, I got back into it after an 8-year hiatus during the pandemic, and I've been going almost nonstop since then. And now it's time for a slowdown, partly because I just had to get another car, and we have a bathroom shower that leaks. So there will be some other things that will catch my attention. So
have you noticed a dip in the Star Wars pieces inked by Tom Palmer with the proliferation of art that's out there?
So the common pages definitely are going for lower prices each week, where for a while they were all going north of $1,200-1,500. I think there were 1 or 2 last night that were between $500 and $1,000. But there was also a $6,000 or $7,000 splash that still seemed pretty healthy. So good pages are still commanding good prices. Average pages, I think, are where more of the adjustment is from the stuff that I'm looking at. So,
okay.
I would say like premium stuff is still selling for premium prices. I mean, I think this conversation kind of sprung up because there was like one Comic Link and one HA auction that were a bit lower than one might expect. But it was kind of those Wednesday auctions. I mean, and there was some crazy cheap stuff there, but like the reality is like the supply is really high, but everybody just wants the premium stuff for the most part. At the end of the day, a lot of the lower end stuff is more from a budget perspective. Like you buy what you can buy for the stories that you really like or the artists that you really like. And part of it too that I found too is it's like a lot of the art, like even at the premium stuff, it just takes 2 people to make that price right. And so like you could get a week where you don't have those 2 people even on the lower end stuff, And like, there's a lot of people in the hobby. There's a lot of people buying stuff, but it doesn't take that. Like, the market's thin enough that like we're talking about that Wolverine sketch too that's coming up to Heritage auction. Like, that's a premium piece. But it's like, how much is that really worth? Like, there's no way you can put a number on it, is because it's going to sell for whatever the top 2 or 3 people in the hobby are going to decide it's going to sell for. It's kind of like that Spider-Man page that sold for $3.6 million. Like, it's relatively arbitrary because it just matters how deep are those 2 people's pockets at that one moment in time, basically.
I know one of the things that affect, of course, supply and demand curves are, not just the art supply, but the new collectors that would be joining the hobby and new collectors that are discovering original art. I guess, George and Rob, where do you see most of the new collectors coming from your experience? Where do you think those pools of people that will help sustain the market are at?
I was going to add real quick to what Rob said with the takes 2 people. There was I think a Scotty Young, like Donatello color piece, unpublished, went for like $4,000, which is much higher than I would have expected. And I would also add, I think the interesting thing I try to remind myself with the auctions is, if there's a lot of pieces being sold, there's a lot of people buying. So that means there's a lot of people selling and a lot of people buying. I feel like there's been a higher turnover in pieces in the past couple of years. And maybe it's just I'm paying more attention now. But I feel like there's just a lot, to the point of the question, there's a lot more auctions happening, which means people are turning pieces over quicker. As far as new collectors, I don't know. I'm assuming there's new collectors coming in, but I honestly don't have a good answer, James, for that. I think conventions seem to be a good place for people to discover OA. And what's up, Jason? and people to kind of dip their toes into OA, and then start paying more attention to collecting.
Gotcha.
One thing, I don't know if this is just anecdotal or not, but I feel like a lot of the newer collectors a lot of them are on CAF. I know, like, I've been trained up. I tend to dwell more in the modern side of the hobby, and a lot of the pieces I try to hunt down, it's like they're not on CAF. I don't know who has them. They're not in like the regular circles of folks. Like, I don't know where they are. I mean, they could be in some massive black hole collection, but I kind of feel like there are a number of like newer collectors in the modern side of things where it's like they're on Instagram or they're on Twitter or they're not on like your typical. So like maybe they're on TikTok. I don't know. Maybe I need to go search TikTok for comic art. I haven't done that yet. But
they're on Nerdcrawler too. They're
We're gonna cover Nerdcrawler, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Clayton Crane like art gym kind of crew of folks. It's kind of a different group of collectors, I feel like, on some level.
Rob, that's a great point you're making, because I have this argument with a friend of mine all the time. There's a lot of collectors we don't know. We tend to think we know everyone. What?
I said, you just argue with Fish. Yeah.
There's a ton of collectors out there that we don't know. We just assume we know everyone, but I run into new other collectors all the time that aren't on CAF, that don't put their stuff up, and don't go on Facebook, whatever. And we just tend to think we all know everyone. And there's a lot of collectors out there that are not known.
Yeah. Black Viper mentioned Rose Beach. So she did a Cosmic Ghost Rider card art, and I was going to go buy it. And then it was like $4,000. And I was like, no, thank you. It's just like, it is like, there's a whole different like piece of the market where people are paying these really extreme prices for like $4,000. I can go buy like a really good cover for that. And this like card art was like 9x12, wasn't like full 11x17, didn't have backgrounds, like, but people like that stuff.
I think there's examples both ways. There's some really cheap examples in auctions, and there's some really expensive examples too, where it may be buyers that don't necessarily care what the market typically bears for that kind of price. Like, and they just want it because they want it, and they've got the pockets to buy it. So this crew probably isn't going to pay that much more for something like that, a rose cover at $4K, but someone did.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of European dealers pop up and European artists selling at these more what I would consider premium prices for modern pieces. I know we're pivoting away, James, so hopefully that's cool. But I'm seeing a lot more of that. With I feel like Kirby art is a big one that kind of maybe led that shift. But now with like Scott's Collectibles, and Rose and others that I've seen that are asking traditionally higher prices for modern pieces where there's not an established market, an established like sales record other than what their rep is selling for or what they're selling for.
Yeah, I got one thing. I think this is the longest Wolvie fan has not talked. So let me ask you, Mr. Rob, where do you think new collectors are showing up from? Any friends?
You broke up there.
Did I?
It's you're asking where do I think they're coming from?
Yeah.
New art collectors? I don't really know. I don't do much business with them. I don't get many new guys reaching out to me. So I'm probably the idiot sitting out of the crew that knows everyone, because I don't see it at all. All my business is repeat business.
Well, let me ask you this, Rob, because I've had conversations with you too. So a couple of areas that I think new collectors come from. One of them is foreign markets, right? You mentioned to me when you put art up, you're surprised by the number of people that are reaching out to you that are in foreign markets.
Yes.
Across the country, especially in the middle of the night. And then let me ask you guys this. I mean, as comic book collecting, if you notice the trend in comic book collecting, especially from slabs, it's been tough, right? They've taken a big hit. Hulk 181s and some of those keys are definitely not what they're used to be. But original art, for the most part, is held market. So do you see a trend of comic collectors that are used to those high-end keys kind of looking at the original art market right now?
I definitely feel like there's a lot of people selling the past probably couple years selling their slabs to buy art. And maybe that was with the decline of some of those prices. I don't know.
Have you guys sold any slabs to buy art?
As soon as I got into art, I sold like every expensive slab that I had, except maybe like one.
Didn't you sell all your Yu-Gi-Oh cards?
I sold my Magic cards. I sold my Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Sold my slabs.
Jason helped me sell a bunch of Golden Age books to buy some art.
That's awesome. All right, and then one of the things that we mentioned, like auction fatigue and some auctions going lower, but somebody talked about the Witchblade auction on Nerdcrawler. Nerdcrawler right now seems to be puzzling for a lot of us older or longer term collectors, right? Where we're seeing art, especially from like Art Germ or Ariel Diaz or kind of sketch cover artists, just absolutely go insane. And I've got my thoughts on there, but anyone have kind of thoughts of why do you think Nerdcrawler, at least at this moment, is just on fire for some of the auctions that wouldn't be looked at an HA or a Comic Link?
I'm getting promoted Nerdcrawler stuff to me every single day on Instagram, every day. And it's a lot of social media posts. The really smart artists are posting their nerd crawlers on Facebook, Instagram, and cross-posting. That's where I see it. That's where I think folks, especially if they promote on Instagram and other social media sites that are less traditionally comic art focused, I think they're having a lot of success there.
You think they're targeting those comic collectors? Because it's mostly sketch art and sketchbooks.
I don't think they're necessarily targeting comic art collectors. I think that they're just targeting art collectors and finding success in new markets and people that are willing to pay the premium for some. I mean, I have Ariel Diaz art. I love Ariel Diaz, but
we know Ariel well.
I'm not going to pay the same prices that she's getting on Nerdcrawler. I'm just not going to do it. So maybe I'm out of Ariel Diaz art now.
I think it's the little bit I know about the site, and I've been on it a few times. I feel like it's a great platform for artists that do daily sketches, that do weekly drawings. It gives them I think an easy platform where they can auction things off. So if they don't know their price point or if they want to find what people are willing to pay, it seems like a great avenue for that. I see Koi Pham do, I think he's been doing daily sketches that he was selling on Facebook. and I think they were selling out at very reasonable prices. So I think now he's moved to putting them at auction, and he does at least one a week, it seems like, if not a couple a week. So that seems the biggest value from the little bit I know about the site.
One of somebody I talked to mentioned that Nerdcrawler, because a lot of those premium artists are providing commission opportunities through Nerdcrawler, right? And we've seen some of the prices those commission opportunities have gone for. But before they kind of mixed up the paddle numbers, a lot of like the Art Adams commissions and some of those were going to collectors in Australia. So, people are theorizing like it allows people in other countries that would not get an Art Adams commission at a con to pay to get an Art Adams commission on the con. Now, the counter argument would be for the same price you're paying for a smaller Art Adams commission, you kind of get a published page or get something already done. But, if they want that experience, I guess it's an avenue for it.
And like you said, James, if it brings in new collectors, I didn't know they were doing the social media boost still. So that's great to hear that it probably is expanding the market. I'm sure you're hitting existing collectors, but it's probably bringing people in, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, and what I first used the site for was Nerdcrawler. It would alert me to, Paul Smith sites or Bachalo sites via text so that you can jump on it right away. I kind of dismissed all the auction stuff until some of the particular artists were getting some interesting numbers. Have any of you guys heard of any collector backlash to it, as far as maybe changing the markets, pricing people out of the markets, or making some artists inaccessible now?
I think that's already happening, James. I mean, you're seeing the reps are going more and more over there. Why would they offer a commission for $2,500 when they could sell it on Nerdcrawler for $5,000 or $8,000 or whatever? I'm interested to see if this is sustainable, because I think right now it's a lot of dick measuring. I think you get a few people with big bucks that are on there that just want to win the best of the best. Exactly. So we'll see if that continues. 10 commissions from the artist in, or 15 commissions from the artist in. I know I've heard that the Art Adams that were on there were bought by the same person.
Yeah.
So, when that person gets out of it, where does it go from there?
Yeah.
There's only so many people in different time zones that don't want to hang on for a heritage auction or comics, Comic Link or something like that doesn't end at a good time for them. Okay, well, this is a good opportunity, but how many folks are there like that? Australia, Southeastern Asia. Okay, once those collectors have their fill, this might diminish.
And it's not new, right? I see artists taking bids on Instagram and Twitter. There's artists that have done it over the years on eBay. I remember Adam Hughes auctioning off commission spots going for $9,000 to $12,000. I think this is years ago. Jim Lee, I guess those are more charity auctions, but Jim Lee, other artists doing it. I think to James, maybe the underlying question is figuring out a way to still give some fan service that you're not having to pay a premium price all the time. Although from an artist perspective, I totally get it. But I think there's a balance long term. I don't know what that is, but.
Well, okay. Any other thoughts on supply, demand, Nerdcrawler, or anything along? So we kind of switch focus a little bit.
Somebody wanted us to talk about price elasticity. So clearly there's plenty of price elasticity still in the marketplace. There you go, a little fan service.
Well, it's true. People, ask me a lot. What do you think this piece is worth, or what do you think I can sell this piece for? And I think I talked to you about this, Jason. Well, it depends. What's your motivation, right? So that a lot of that will determine. I mean, there's no GPA analysis. We already know this. I mean, we're retreading. But if you are motivated to sell, well, here's what I think the value is. If you would like to sell but keep it, that's another value. And then if it's a make me an offer, that's another value. So, there's definitely a wide range on an individual piece. There's a lot of people that ask, did I overpay? Did I underpay? I mean, who really knows, right?
But I think that's why people like auctions, because they feel insulated then. Well, someone else was willing to pay this. When they see something on a dealer site or on CAF or whatever, then they start looking at comps and overthinking it. That auction mentality gives them the reassurance that the price was right.
Well, and one thing, if you win on auction, you've overpaid.
I was going to say, I always have the slight remorse feeling of like, wait, I just paid more than anyone else is willing to pay.
Yeah, you paid more.
Me too. I never buy. I rarely buy.
I just won a piece at auction recently, and it's like I can't stop thinking about like, that was a lot of money. Like, should I really have bought that? Whereas like everything else, I buy most of my stuff privately, and it's like I usually look up what the comps are. Like usually it would be like a not for sale piece. I look up the comps, and I offer like 25, maybe even 50% over what comps are, depending on the piece. Because it's like, well, I love this piece, and if I get that piece, then I'm happy with that price. Like I kind of determine my own price for it. But it's at the end of it, kind of what you were getting to, James. I think at the end of the day, it's all about what does that specific piece mean to you, and what is the value you're willing to put on it.
Sure.
Yeah, very rarely if I'm looking at a piece at auction, am I there when the live auction part is happening? Like Heritage, I'll put my live bid in before the auction starts because I've calculated, okay, this is what I think it's worth. This is what I'm willing to pay. I've already done the math for the buyer's fees and all that on top of it, what shipping is going to be. And so I just put that in and walk away. And if I win, I win. And if I don't, I don't. And that, I think, kind of helps me feel like I'm not overpaying because I've picked out the price that I'm willing to go up to. And I'm not drawn into that cut bid that draws me a bid or two past where, I thought I was going to.
I won my last piece on a cut bid. I was like, oh, the cut bid. This will be my last bid.
On a cut bid.
Then I won it. I was like, oh.
It's a little sweeter. A little sweeter.
Yeah, you make a good point. I think I've talked to James about this. Why we're seeing some of these auctions and lower. I think somebody referenced the comic link that just happened or whatever. We used to sit and watch the whole auction, right? And Jeff just said it. Now we put our bids in and walk away or just for that piece. So when we used to sit and watch the auction, oh, this looks really cheap. Let me click on it. You get more impulse buys, impulse bids, so on and so forth. But with so many auctions and so much material, and we're no longer in a pandemic, sitting there doing nothing.
Right.
No one's just sitting there watching these entire auctions. And I think that's hurting some of the price.
Well, and look at the the signature auctions have 800 lots, 850 lots. I won a piece this last weekend in a signature auction, but it wasn't an art signature auction. It was the anime and cool stuff auction. They had thousands of pieces. Thousands.
Those heritage auctions are brutal to sit through.
Yeah.
I think there's too many auctions, including that damn Nerdcrawler. I think there's just too much stuff. I think it affects the prices of a lot of the market. Also, I'd love to see some of them be scaled back, but who the hell is going to do that? They need to make their money. One of the sites was talking to a collector friend of mine, trying to get a real nice piece that he had, and they kept telling him, "You're going to get this much. You're going to get this much. We'll even give you half as an advance," because they needed art. And he kept asking me, "Hey, what do you think, Rob? What do you think, Rob? It's a 90s piece." And I was like, "Listen, dude, I don't think you're going to get that much. If they're that sure they're going to get it, make them guarantee it and have them cut you a check up front." That happened to me once. I had one of the auction houses wanted a piece of mine. I said, "Okay, cut me a check up front. What do you think it's going to go for?" So they will do it. They don't do it often, but they will. And of course, they said no. So I don't know. I'd like to see them cut back, but there's no reason to, right? Because people are still jumping in. People are still buying things, even if it's at 30, 40% less than what we think it would go for. I don't know. I think there's too much auctions out there.
Yeah, it's kind of like in Oklahoma, they legalized weed for medical, and the weed stores showed up everywhere. Like, we had more weed stores than Starbucks, and then they started going out of business. So we'll see what happens. Not that I associate comic art and smoking, and I don't smoke, but I just thought it was anecdotal.
I think Bill has an Aquaman.
Go for the gummies. I hear you. Okay, no smoking. Okay.
Hey, helps you fall asleep.
There's
Bill has
people that are propping up auctions because they're selling art to buy art. So it's velocity in the market too, not just the volume of art, the amount of art. It's people that are trying to ladder up to different pieces. It's just an ongoing game.
Sure. What was that, George?
Oh, I was just to say, I think Bill has a Aquabong piece that you could probably get hung up in one of your local shops.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So it's an untapped market. Okay, well, I'll go to the next one. So we're, I think, for the most part, pretty tenured art collectors, right? Been in the hobby for a long time. So when you guys go to cons now, what is your focus? Do you see yourself more as a social con goer to meet and greet? Or do you still have targets, and do you still kind of attack or have plans to acquire art? Like, where, well, yeah, I'll just kind of open it up. What are you guys' focuses now?
100% social.
Mm-hmm. You're a party animal, dude.
I don't know about that, but.
Oh, I'm pretty close. I'd say it's 90% social and 10% prearranged pickups.
Gotcha. Mm. And since you're in Vegas and they have the Vegas con, you just go for the booth babes, right?
No, because the Vegas con is terrible.
No, fair enough.
And it was even worse this year because it wasn't even a real con. It was a situation where the organizers had other family drama going on, and they sort of did a half-ass thing. And, it was $40 to park and $15 to get in, and that's not a good situation right off the bat. So,
well, you Wooly fan?
I'll tell you, I don't go to many shows. I hate crowds. I hate people. So when I go, it's probably more for for socializing and meeting some of you guys out there. And that always ends up being a mistake because I end up being out till 3 or 4 in the morning drinking, and it sucks. Everybody talked about the Heroes Con, and George and all these other jerk offs had me up till 4 or 5 in the morning, and it was only drinking. I had a much better time hanging out with Rob and select bourbons. I'll do that, but I don't think you can buy. This is my opinion. What the hell do I know? I don't think you can buy art you're looking for at shows anymore, because right now you pretty much have everything is on the internet. Every once in a while, a dealer will hold back a few pieces and then put them out at the show. But they really, isn't it stuff that they had on their site maybe a year ago, or isn't it stuff they had the last show, then they took it down only to put it back up? So for me, it's not buying. It's probably more for socializing, or maybe trying to find some deals that I could buy some stuff people didn't see and use for my site, because getting inventory is a pain in the giant J-Lo ass. It is a pain.
Well, I have a comment on that, but I'll let someone else chime in first.
The drinking piece is why I don't exhibit anymore, because then I don't have to be in the hall first thing in the morning, and I can slow roll whenever I get there. So,
yeah, I agree with what Rob said. It's just impossible to find a piece. It's not like you're going to go rush and find the exact published piece you're looking for. I guess if you're I don't really do many commissions, but I guess if you do commissions, there is an aspect of running to be first in line for that. I will say, just a semi-unrelated sort of related story, I did get one of my favorite childhood covers at via the last Heroes Con, because I went and talked to an artist and I was like, hey, this was one of my favorite covers when I was a kid. Do you still have this? And he was like, I think I might. And then he looked for it later, and I was able. I
was going to say, Rob, as you were saying that, I was like, but
yeah,
you did talk to an artist at a con and found something.
Yeah, so there's it can happen, but it's not like you got to go rush to make it happen. You just casually socialize, go talk to the artist you want to talk to. I'll look for art, but I'm not it's not like I had a target. Honestly, I didn't even think of that cover until I looked up that artist and what he had done. I didn't even know he had done the cover I liked as a kid, and I looked him up and I was like, holy cow, he did this cover that I loved as a kid. So I asked him about it. But yeah, so it's I feel it kind of, it's not like an art drop when you go to a con. It's just kind of things are going to happen the way they happen, and you let the chips fall as they will.
Yeah, I think that a couple of folks have mentioned in the chat along those same lines, for artists that don't have a rep or that don't regularly send new stuff to their rep, that hold on to it for a long time. you may find stuff at a show that has not made it to the internet yet. And so, there have been instances where I've talked to Marquet about some of his guys that don't regularly add new stuff and said, hey, I know they did this a year or two ago. Is that ever going to reach the site? And then you sort of get first crack at it because no one else has asked about it yet. So sometimes you can shake stuff loose that way. But again, most of the time I'm going at this point to hang out because I'm only doing, maybe 3 shows a year. So it is the time to hang out and visit with all you folks. So,
yeah.
I'll plus one that there was, at least thinking about Heroes Con this year, the artists that don't have reps or don't consistently work with reps bring art to cons that are never online, aren't offered before. Ron Garney is one of the people I'm thinking specifically of. Had a portfolio full of covers that had never seen. I think he teased them on Instagram maybe, but had never been for sale before. So it happens.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Picking up your story, James.
Oh no, it's fine. Go ahead, Jason.
I agree. I mean, I think there's a lot of artists have art we don't know forever, right? George, all those Infinity War things came from Isherwood, and even after we saw what he had, we went back to him and he had more of them, right? Like, and those are from 92.
I think so, yeah.
So I think there is opportunity out there. Rob, I know you don't, but it depends on what you're hunting, right? Like, Rob, you only want high-end 90s art, right?
Correct.
That's why that's harder to unearth, and the artists know more value to it and know to send it to Heritage. But if you're looking for more niche stuff, you can still find it. And also, if you want to buy modern art, that's the best way to do it, is at a con.
Yeah,
we're not modern art collectors for the most part. The group of us here.
Yeah, a lot of modern art gets dropped by the reps and stuff now too. So a lot of it's kind of held away from the cons and is more exclusively done online. Not every artist, for the artists who don't, it's probably is the best way to get it. But.
So real quick, since Larry just joined, we're talking about the storage capabilities of USPS, UPS, FedEx boxes. Which do we prefer? So just FYI.
And we've decided FedEx is the worst, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
The worst.
Yeah.
I also will say that with all the social media posting going on these days, watch to see if an artist is moving, because I have plenty of friends who are artists. One of them moved over the summer from Ohio to Oklahoma, and I've been chasing down pages from a book he did back in the 90s or early 2000s. And he's like, hey, wait, I found a handful of them in the bottom of a drawer as I was packing everything up. Be interested? So sometimes that can also unearth, the random box of stuff that they thought had sold 10 years ago, but really just got buried in a pile in their closet somewhere.
So from an acquisition standpoint, the way I see it from a con, if you want to acquire art, the cons will have the artists that you can acquire art from. If you want to require more modern pieces or specific pieces from that artist, but like for Rob and everything, what I think the con and Murdoch mentions it before, it provides you the networking opportunity to find where the art that you're looking for may reside with the other collectors. So I don't think it's a surprise. I'm in sales. There's a virtual component to my job. There's an on-site customer component to my job. And we've always said that on-site customer component, walking through the office, see what boxes there are, see, talking to, people that, you don't interact with on a daily basis. You just discover so much more in person through observation and networking. So I think that's just the main focus for me from a con perspective.
If I may, I a couple of guys brought up modern art, and I know nothing about it. I can care less about it, and maybe that's where I'm lacking. But I see there's quite a few.
90s is pretty modern for a lot of these guys.
Okay, and I see a lot of these these reps, dealing the modern art, making a killing. Like, I don't understand the whole, and I know he has a lot of the people that defend him, and I'm not looking for trouble here. I'm not a dummy. But Felix, man, the shit that Felix puts out and the stuff he sells and the numbers he gets, it blows my mind. The dude is he's amazing how he does what he does. But I don't get it. I don't get it at all. For the kind of money he sells stuff for, I would much rather get something older. But he's a machine, man. He moves stuff, and again, I just don't comprehend it.
I think we could do a dissertation on Felix and how I think he's changed the hobby, especially at the time he first came in, and that'll be topic for another day or in his own show, or it'll be pretty polarizing. But when I first got in is when he first really took off, and there was a lot of professionalism on how he approached it that I think resonated into a market that was kind of deregulated. So follow-ups, presentation, shipping, all that kind of stuff. I think he had a leg up when it comes to that. He approached it as a business. So yeah, that's what I'll leave it at that.
I guess.
Okay. Well, let's see. We got the cons. Let me ask you this. Have you guys started looking at or exploring, especially, at OAX? If you guys didn't know, there's going to be a subset of OAX called CAX. I think it's Card Art Expo. So I know Steve, I can't remember Steve's last name, and Jose and everything. There are these huge card art collectors, and Kazra and them are carving out a section of OAX for the original art associated with cards. So have you guys started seeing either proliferation, or have you taken interest in card art, magic art, video game art, all kind of stuff that's non-traditionally comic? Has you seen a lot of crossover?
Let me start, guys, because it'll be simple for me. No. Next.
You just sold a Cubert Sabretooth card. You had that for how many years?
I did.
Yeah.
And I got more money on Comic Connect than I did on my own website. I don't understand you.
I'm just saying, Rob, you have dabbled.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, there's one or two pieces.
So I find a lot of those markets really interesting. So I've played a lot of card games, not as peripherally interested in like the Marvel card art for the trading cards, but I played like Magic and other card games, and then like played a lot of video games. So but a lot of that art, there's for Magic, there's a lot of art, but for like video games in particular, there's very, very little art that's available. So like one of my bucket list artists was Yoshitaka Amano, who did all the art for Final Fantasy. I am very lucky that I finally got a Yoshitaka Amano piece, but it's not a Final Fantasy piece because the company has, like Square Enix has all of that art, or I can't remember the lady's name, but the lady who did the art for Castlevania, that was like some of the art my wife would have loved to get, but it's like that stuff's just literally unobtainable. So it's kind of an interesting dynamic when you get into those other markets. But even when you talk about Magic cards, I mean, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of Magic cards. But when you talk about the cards it's similar to comic art. Like we're talking about like a cover everybody recognizes. Like if it's a card that everybody recognizes and it's the art for it, it's going to be like it's definitely going to be over 100,000, could be 200,000 or so. And then
one comment. Go ahead, Robert.
Sorry, I was going to say, like, I think a good example of that too was like when there was the D&D, the Dungeons and Dragons Magic set that came out. There's, I think, two pieces that sold for around $150,000 for like brand new cards for that art, because there was.
Oh, you're underwater, Rob. Your microphone's underwater. But I'll say this: you mentioned video game art, and I'm a huge gamer growing up. Huge Genesis, Super Nintendo, Sega Master System, Atari Lynx, all that stuff. And to me, a lot of the video game art, and I'm gonna get flamed for this, it's just ugly. Like, I mean, it was just thrown on a game pack, but they still go for incredible amounts of money. Like some random Sega Genesis D+ game, but vintage Sega Genesis just goes for tens of thousands of dollars. And I get it, because it's, with the comic, you have the cover and then you have the 23 pages, right? So there's parts to it, and with the art, with the video game, it's just one. So
you also have 400 issues of that comic versus one of that game.
But this is going to get me flamed. Like, I see a lot of like comic art. I see the artistic nature of it. There's a lot of video game art. I'm like, all right, man, you do you.
I own the original for the Dragon's Lair art, and I bought it when it came up for auction. I don't remember if I think it was $6 or $7 grand. I don't know how someone found out I had it, but I've had a few people reach out to me and offer me some crazy money for it. It was I think it was from the 80s, maybe, the stand-up games, not console games. I think a lot of that's nostalgic. I don't know if you could say it's nice art, but I think a lot of
that was good art. Like, I know what James is talking about. Some of those game art boxes are not great at all. But Dragonslayer, that art's fantastic.
Other art that's hard to find is board game art. So I'm a big board gamer, and like there's like Batman, Gotham City Chronicles, and stuff like Anthony Jean making money off of that kind of stuff too. But you're exactly right. The difference is for comics, there's tons of story arcs. There's tons of issues. Wonder Woman turned 84 this week, so 84 years worth of issues for her. Like, so guess what the supply is for that? For a lot of these other things, the supply is just not there. So that's why a lot of those prices tend to be a little bit higher. I don't play in Marvel card art. I don't really play in the card art arena, just because overall I feel like the prices tend to be on average higher than what I want to pay in my own little Wonder Woman and female comic art sandbox.
She doesn't look over 25. She looks good for 84.
Yeah, she does look good for 84.
Board game art is a category of art I have been tempted to get into. There's I don't know if anybody knows who Adrian Smith is, but he did a number of different board games. He did a bunch of Warhammer art as well. I've got a few of his Warhammer pieces, but been very tempted to try to hunt down board game art for him.
You're going to see some news stories pop out on November 4th. So there was a Magic Marvel crossover that's been on fire. The original art will be put on sale. I don't know how it's going to be sold November 4th, and I think it's going to surprise a lot of people for what it goes for. So go ahead, Rob. Sorry.
No, I had finished what I was saying. Do we know who the artist who did that were? I forgot to check who the artist is.
He's on Facebook. Will in our chat group, he's been posting stuff about it.
The funny part about card art used to be cheaper than it used to be a way to get nice images cheaper. Like the Jim Lee cards used to be a lot cheaper than a Jim Lee page, what have you. And now it's kind of flipped on its end. But I do think there's still opportunity there. I just picked up a card in Comic Link that 2000 X-Men piece by a known artist, and it was cheap. I think it goes back to where you are picking up the pieces from more than anything else.
And recently, if you guys saw, he was a collector that came to OAX last year, Spidey Hits, Justin. Him and his buddies uncovered the 2016 Joe Jusko Marvel Masterpieces cards from a hidden collection, and they've been selling those. So that's been, from a Marvel art card, that's been a big story running around that community. And I think they're going to bring a bunch of them to OAX to share.
Very cool.
Yeah, conveniently, that hasn't been a distraction for me unless it's a card that's had the hand of Hembeck upon it. So,
hey, you started that, Jeff. You started that.
Hey,
the cult of Hembeck. That counts. All right. Anything else on the card side? Just got a couple more topics from a time perspective. So here's one that I wanted to ask you guys, and I see it a lot in the comic forums, especially the Buyers Beware group. Have you guys had bad experiences with commissions as far as time expectations? And what are your strategies, or how have you overcome, or how have you gotten the art, or what's the resolution there? Like, how do you guys tackle an artist not meeting time expectations?
If I could go really quickly on this one. No, I hate commissions. Never done it. Next.
I've seen your site. You got commissions. You keep saying this.
I have a few commissions, but I'm mostly with Rob. I stray away from commissions largely for that reason.
Yes.
The majority of my commissions are from artists that I know. And, so it's like, well, I'd like you to do this piece for me. And it's always prearranged so that we pick it up at a show or whatever. I'm looking for generally just a quick representative piece. So a lot of them actually get accomplished at shows. So I guess knock on wood, I've not had some of those 6-month, 2-year, 10-year waits that some folks have experienced. I think the longest I waited was about 3 months past when I expected it. So I've been lucky.
Do a hotline to Daryl R, right? I mean,
We should.
10-year commissions.
Daryl's still waiting.
Daryl's still waiting.
Yeah.
He's the king of that. The worst experience I've had was actually a Kickstarter campaign that's actually still not fulfilled. So I don't really consider that to be a commission, but there was original art attached to the Kickstarter campaign. The commission that I've waited on the longest, we're going on about 2 years now, but the artist is a friend. So it's easy to put me off.
Burn him, Jill. Who is it?
No.
Burn him.
Will not do it. But I've never really had a bad commission. I'm probably jinxing myself now. A really bad commission experience. Plus, I know that person is going to. I've already seen the layouts. We've agreed on what it's going to look like. All that stuff. I'm not worried as long as I'm communicated with.
Okay. Have any of you
Marcus
guys
burned them. It's a Ranga.
It's not a Ranga.
have you guys used any strategies of pay half now, pay half later, or make sure that you're tracking with PayPal for goods and services to, circumvent within 6 months, set time expectations, anything along those lines?
Cash by carrier pigeon.
James, I'm not a big commission guy, but I have dabbled. One of the reasons I don't play in it is because I don't like the open-endedness, when is it coming, so on and so forth. That kind of tweaks me out. So when I do it, like somebody else said, I'll want to arrange it like, hey, I'm going to be at this show in 3 months. I saw you're going to be there. A lot of people break my heart a little bit because I've had Larry Stroman do a bunch of stuff for me and I've gotten it. And that's how I've managed it with him. It's like, hey, Larry, I saw you're going to be at this show. Can you do this? And I don't pay up front. So if it's there, I get it and it's done at that point. But I personally, for that experience, it's just like open it. Like I feel bad for it, but like these open-ended forever commissions just would drive me nuts.
F that.
Yeah, James, I still do commissions from time to time, but I was heavy in commissions when I started the first few years. And like Jeff, it was a lot at cons. I mean, I feel like that was a big thing for going to like Heroes, going to cons, is you had access to people directly. You could pick it up in person. I feel like it's changed a little bit. I don't remember ever paying up front for a commission, but I know prices have changed drastically in the past 5-10 years, where commissions are $1,000 to $3,000, and not just a few artists, more artists than you might think. So I understand the need to put some kind of money down so they know you're going to pay for the piece, or they're at least covered to a degree. But I try to avoid paying anything up front, but also through experience. I think my longest wait was 3.5 years.
Shit.
But yeah. But every 3 months or so I would get communication. I think the worst one was shorter time, but the piece was finished in a year, but it took another year for the artist to ship the piece.
Oh my God, I know, right?
I would have went to his house and said, dude, give me my damn piece of art.
He was in the UK, and I had to go to someone he was working with on a book to go bug it, knock on his door.
In UK, it takes a long time to ship. I can't imagine.
But now I'm still, luckily, I can still enjoy the piece. He's a nice guy, but I think the thing to really call out, especially for newer collectors, is this isn't like going to get your car repaired and it's going to be fixed in 3 to 4 hours or whatever it is, or a couple days, whatever you're getting done. You're going to an artist, if they're don't have a rep, they probably don't have a super tight schedule that they work with every day. And if they do, it's probably has full of higher priority things than your commission. So I think setting personal expectations of this isn't necessarily their livelihood. This is something extra they're doing on top of their day job, as a supplemental piece. And I don't know if everyone will agree with that, but that's kind of how I view it when I go into this, that, hey, I try to say up front, how long do you think it'll be? 3 months, 6 months? And if it's a little bit longer, no big deal. But if it turns into years, that's, I think, when it gets really challenging.
What I would say, there's going to be commission, reps that have reputations of delivering, right? So no big deal there. I would say it could be an awkward conversation up front, but if you can set milestones, like just define expectations, define milestones, and nothing too crazy. Like don't go do a dissertation or send calendar invites or anything like that. But if you can say, hey, if you think 6 months, kind of give me a general idea when prelim will be done, general idea of that. And if you see like milestones start slipping early, then there's kind of some red flags. So again, it's not a conversation like, a lot of us here that are collectors, we're not artists. So we come more maybe from a business or professional side. Artists, I'm being a little stereotypical, but it's more that creative process, not non-organizational side. So maybe, have that conversation up front, see if you can build some type of organized structure for those artists that you may have a concern with and see how that can help you be successful.
Here's my big for paying up front.
Jason, sir, go ahead.
That money is spent long before they draw your piece. So there's no longer motivation for them to draw that piece.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And most artists that I've worked with don't want money up front because of that exact fact. They're like, if something comes up, I don't want to be responsible and you mad at me for 6 months because I already got enough going on. So I always appreciate that, but I'll also try to be accommodating.
But there's also the ones that are collecting for commissions for 10 years from now.
Yeah.
I like clicking on the big comments because they cover Jason. Just clicking on
That's a big comment to cover that big boy. Damn.
Well, the last topic, and there's some more, but I want to kind of keep to time. With Comic Art Live, what's coming up in November? Calf Live, right? Coming up. Rob, you have a website. I think we've all sold art before. Let's just have an open discussion. Like, what are your selling strategies when you want to sell art? How do you move pieces when you want to acquire more? Auctions, eBay, Calf Live, personal sellers. Just kind of open it up. What do you guys do to move pieces?
I'm easy. I don't sell. Next. I'm a
You have
platform.
too much. You need to, man. No, just kidding.
Jill and I are in the same boat. The few pieces I have sold have always been people just reaching out because typically it's another Star Wars collector that goes, hey, I'm trying to piece together that issue or parts of that story, and I know you've got that page. Would you mind selling it? So very rarely am I selling pieces out of my collection to fund the next piece of my collection. That's just not how I budget it. So
I got a question for you when you say that. So when you don't sell art to fund the next one, correct?
Nope.
correct.
Do you have I would assume that you have a budget. You don't spend more than, correct? You probably spend, I don't know, up no more than $3,000 to $5,000.
What's that B word again?
Budget.
Well, no, because I'm saying I do sell art to buy pieces, but so when I hear someone say they don't, I don't know their level of buying, but I would assume that their level might be in that $3,000 to $5,000 range, and it's easier to afford that.
Right.
But you're buying a 20, 30, 40. I recently bought a piece for $70,000. I got to sell something.
Right. I will certainly admit that my tier in the hobby is where I can bankroll it out of my regular paycheck.
Okay.
With the way I budget for art. So, the fact that I just mainly focus on published interior pages and not covers, that brings my price points down. So I certainly understand those who do. But in my case, it's usually something I don't have to worry about.
Yeah, I mean, hell, I don't want to sell, but sometimes I got to.
Right.
I don't have the endless budget that James has.
Exactly.
I tend to do what Marcus said in chat, price high, take offers. I usually just use Comic Art Fans. I think I've only sold one piece at auction, but I've also only sold 8 out of like 250 pieces that I've bought. I tend to buy stuff I like. So when I sell, it's a little tough too because I bought it because I liked it. But I like using Comic Art Fans to sell it just because you have a little bit more control over it. You're not like sending it into the void of the auction. I was happy with the one time I sold at auction too, though. It sold for a price that I was happy with, but some would argue it sold cheap, but it sold for more than 3 times what I paid, so it all worked out.
Nice.
I know, Jason, me and you are pretty active. So, man, go for it, dude. What are your strategies?
Well, yeah, I sell to buy. It's allowed me to buy pieces I wouldn't be able to afford right out of my paycheck. I've also found that when something comes up, even if it's not in my wheelhouse, if it's a good deal, I'll pick it up, because art for art trades is a very underrated way to get things you want that you might not necessarily be able to get. I've been doing a lot of trades recently. So, you know, it also, you know, how do I sell? So I have a network of people. So if it's something I think somebody wants, I'll show it to them first, right? Like if it's a Wolverine piece from the 90s, I'm going to go to Rob and be like, hey, Rob, do you want this? You know, George, if it's a style guide for something, you know, older, I'm going to show it to you. Rob, I own one Cosmic Ghost Rider page. If I ever sell that, you know who's going to get the phone call first, right? So I like to sell that way first, but otherwise I sold a lot on comic art fans, Comic Art Live. I've done doing dealers. I've done at auction. I'm not a big fan. Not enough control for me. I don't, because there's some pieces I'd rather keep than sell at the prices they are. It's just not, they sell. So auction's not really for me. But I think it's a lot easier to buy a big piece if it's art you're selling to get it, right? If you're going to go spend $10,000, $15,000 on a piece, I don't make that kind of money that can come out of my paycheck. But if I go in a folio and pick out 4 or 5 pieces that I can sacrifice that I'd rather have, I just in my head, I go, if somebody wanted to trade me that piece for these 4, would I do it? And if the answer is yes, then they go up for sale. And that's kind of how I make it work.
Yeah, I think to comment on the first part is what I consider myself more than a journeyman in the hobby, right? And a lot of it has to do. We talk about cons, we talk about networking to acquire. It's networking to acquire, and Jason mentioned it. Networking helps with sales. I know my fellow collectors, what they collect, what they look for, what they want, either from my collection or a lot of times when I see art out there from other people's collections, just hook people up. So as much as you can interact in the hobby, as much as you can interact with other people in the hobby, that can help sell, that can help grow, help do all those kinds of things.
And those networks are also good to defer temptation.
Yes.
That piece that, you're sort of getting drawn towards, but you don't really want to commit to going after, then you just go, hey, here you go.
Anyone watching, if you're looking to see if you want to buy a piece or not, hit up Larry and just ask Larry to critique it.
That's what I do.
And you don't want to buy it right after that. He will rip it to shreds. I don't care if it's, a Jack Kirby, Thor cover, he'll rip it to shreds. And you're like, yeah, maybe I don't need it.
That's how I help budget, right? If I like a piece, but probably shouldn't buy the piece, I just show it to Larry, and he, okay, temptation over.
But what Larry doesn't tell you is he goes behind you and buys it.
Yeah, I know. Not really. He's trying to downsize. Everybody talk to Larry. Come on now.
Larry doesn't downsize.
Did he run out of fat Xboxes?
So it's impossible.
He sold a lot to Anthony.
Not what I'm looking to buy.
Well, no. You're not looking to sell what you're looking to buy, Jason. You're not the target audience there.
Yeah. And also the problem with art is it's subjective, right? Larry's opinion can be one, and then someone else's can be another. So we all, because we're all creatures of habit, will all reach out to our circle of friends and ask their opinions. But ultimately, I would think we're making our own decision. We're living and dying by what we decide. Larry could tell me I'm going to buy a piece and it sucks. What do I care? I mean, it's his opinion. It's subjective. I don't know.
I'll tell you, he doesn't see it as opinion. He sees it as cold, hard fact. Just that way.
But
it's not true. But
it isn't
a fact.
It isn't a fact. It's again, it's subjective. So I don't know. I mean, a lot of time I've noticed, and it's funny, dealing on some of the bigger trades. a lot of people will ask a lot of people, and it'll help change their mind 6 or 7 times before they finally make the decision to do what they want to do. And I have this one guy I do a lot of business with, and I tell him all the time, bro, you got to stop asking 57 people because you're waiting for your answer. When you finally get your answers, when you want to go, just do what you want to do from the beginning. So
I was gonna say, I feel like if you gotta ask 57 people, you don't actually want the piece.
he may ask more than 57.
Hey, I'll say this too. I think Wolby Fan's going to go show off a piece of art that he got recently. Don't do it yet. That he's very, very happy about. But we have to get to 60 likes, or he's not going to show it.
There you go.
Is this the 70K piece?
It's worth it. Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to see the absolute Batman cover up front, maybe.
It isn't for everyone, but it was for me.
So yeah, 70K art, man. Okay, well, last thing, as far as sales, with Comic Art Live or something, how has the past Comic Art Lives worked for you? Has it been successful from a buying perspective, selling perspective? How do you kind of approach it? Because it's evolved over the last few years, with the premium emails and everything along those lines. And I've spent way too much money during these events. But just kind of talk to your guys' experience.
Those preview emails are amazing.
The devil.
It really helps me hone in on what I should be looking for and who I should be contacting as early as I can. I tend to buy 1 or 2 or 3 pieces per Comic Art Live.
Yeah, I love those emails. I'm done in 5 minutes.
I've only sold once on it, and I did really well. I was excited. That's when I wasn't, didn't have a website, so it was all new. I think if I tried to do it now, I don't think I'd have as much success as I did that one time. But I think it's a great tool for someone that wants to sell some pieces and for buying, because I think a few people wait for that show to sell it online, and you got some people that give you some pretty fairly priced items and then some crazy prices. But I think it's a great tool for anybody, right?
I love it, and my goal is always to end net zero, that I sell enough to pay for whatever I'm getting, and have been pretty close the past couple CAF lives. And the last one, actually, Jason, to your trade point, actually was able to work out a trade with a little bit of cash for a piece during CAF Live, which was great.
Hi.
Hey.
Hey,
he always asks me what I do on these things. we're talking to all the collectors of the world.
James does nothing.
No, it gets him.
We need 70
anyway,
likes for the kiss. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. How many likes are we at? Nick, where are we at? Anyone on you? Anyone tracking?
Let's see.
I don't think we're there.
I'm
seeing 45.
45. All right. Well, we're gonna hold off on the art until we get to that 60. Okay. Anything else from a collector conversation standpoint before we jump into the picks of the week? Any other topics that have you guys come across or that you want to, discuss with a larger group?
I mean, we'd be here till midnight, man.
I'm opening it up to you guys.
But Jill, don't you think we're going to be here till midnight anyway?
Depends on how wordy you guys all are about your picks, man. And yeah.
I'll add, this is getting me hyped for OAX in January to be able to do this in person. And Rob, we're going to have another drink, man. I'm sorry.
you heard, George, you heard what I was promoting on the show the other day, right?
Yeah, I'm already in for the bar crawl. Yeah.
Yep,
what was the name? Was there a name for it?
It's the Wolby Fans' first annual Bub Crawl. Like pub crawl, but Bub Crawl.
I think we need to get Aranga to do a T-shirt for this.
Well, maybe not as good as Aranga, but I got Adam Kubert to do it for me.
Here you go. Flash poll. Do you guys prefer blue lines? Oh, that's not it. Blue lines or gray lines on your digital art? Blue or gray? That's it. Blue or gray?
Gray.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm with Jeff. It doesn't matter.
I'm looking at the inks, not the lines at that point.
All right, let's see. Did all you guys hit like on YouTube? We want to get to that 60. We're almost there. We're at 54. So if everyone in this chat hit their like, then we just need one more, and then Bob can share his art.
I already did, man.
Good night. Come here.
I
I
just
did
did it
both
right.
on YouTube and on Facebook. So
55. Let's see.
How do we sign up?
Yeah, we're good. We're close enough. It'll get to 60. I have faith. What'd you get, Rob? I'm gonna let you go solo for this one.
What I get for what? My art?
Yeah, let's see this.
Oh, okay. Damn, what a handsome man. Okay, hold on. Maybe mess with my hair. So this is what I got. I've been looking for this piece for many years, probably 20, 25 years. Had a chance about 18 years ago for a lot less, $8,000, and it didn't go through. So I had to way overpay. Tex had it, so I had to get it from him direct. I got the cover to Sabretooth #1.
Woo.
Woohoo.
Wow.
Very
nice.
pretty.
I think so. I think it's his best piece he ever did, in my opinion. But what the hell do I know? Well, that's Larry. His opinion. His is always critical.
Oh no, he hates it. He's already
Yeah,
texted me.
He's
funny.
already pointed out that they didn't bother to paint over that line right up the middle.
It's taped. It's a
I
double.
love that it's on black paper. That's really
Oh
awesome.
wow.
Oh no, it's not on black paper, dude. That's all indie ink.
Really?
Oh yeah, you can see the texture of the ink on that. If you look at the
Absolutely.
glare areas. Yeah.
Yeah, it's all ink. He
Hey,
did it on
look-
the back too. He painted the freaking back. This weirdo.
What the heck?
Is that card?
So Tex still had it?
Yeah, he still had it. So I had to. Vincent from Comic Connect helped me get it from him.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
it's
don't you have the double page splash that opens up the comic too?
Yeah,
Sabretooth
right there.
#1? Yeah.
Page 2 and 3.
Wow.
So let me know in the comments in the chat. 70K, right? Absolute Batman #1 or Sabretooth #1?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, you know what? We have to overpay when we want something we really want. And that's a piece I wanted very, very badly for many years. It's probably been on my top 5. Again, I'm not a Silver Age guy. I'm not any of that stuff. I'm a 90s guy. And for me, that was one of the best covers that came out in the 90s. And I love it. So I had to get it no matter what. And, I sold some stuff to get it. And there you go. It's there and it'll be here forever. I'm getting it framed next week.
It's awesome, man. Sincere
Major
congratulations.
congrats.
Congratulations.
Good. Congratulations.
Time to
It's
pay
awesome.
your
I already still have
insurance.
it, too.
My wife still hasn't talked to me since I bought it, but hey, that can be actually a good thing.
All right. We're going to see how this is going to go. We're going to go through the art picks of the week. So I think this
I'm
is
going to drop, guys. It was fun being here.
See you, Jason.
Good to see you, man.
Bye.
Hey, make sure you jump in for the quiz later. All right. So the art picks of the week. This is from the 14th through 20th, I believe. So what we did is each person picked 5 pieces, except for Rob, Wolvie fan. And so we're going to start with Jeff. Again, just kind of like we do on every other week. Why did you pick Star Wars: The Mandalorian? What do you like about this one?
Well, I had to pick a Star Wars piece if I'm going to be doing this. So
Kind of biased.
this is the one I chose because why would you not want to get that big panel right at the top with the Dune popcorn bucket featured prominently?
Oh, it's a family show.
Yeah. No, Alfredo posted this one up during the period we were looking at. And, The Mandalorian is one of the few Star Wars properties that more than half of the fandom agrees on as being good, as opposed to most of the properties, which, is more divided than our national politics. So, features Mando, has Grogu on it and his little flying basket, and a big beaked underwater sea creature with some, hooky things that are probably on the end of tentacles. So I figured Marcus would also like it. So
Pretty toothy. It's a pretty toothy thing. And this is in Alfredo's gallery. I've already commented and liked, so I don't have to write anything here. All right. Any other comments from the rest of the crew?
Super cool Mando panel in the middle there coming right at you.
I'm a fan of anything with Grogu in it.
Oh, Jeff.
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Next. That's all you got to say. It's Mannix.
Mannix. Hold on.
Yeah, I like the way this one picked up the paper texture in the image.
Mhm.
One of the things that doesn't always get all of us who have Mannix pieces always point out that Mannix's colors never get captured right, either through photography or through scanning, because he uses iridescent paints and all kinds of stuff. But he also uses the deckled paper or the canvas, and that extra texture adds a layer that sometimes doesn't get picked up when it gets posted to CAF. So this one popped up, and it's just a nice Mannix piece. Mannix, I think, is still running around New York. Stayed for a visit after New York Comic Con, so I hope he's having fun.
Awesome.
I love this piece, and Jeff, I haven't seen enough Mannix in person that I'm always curious what size his pieces are. I can't tell if it's small or large.
Right, they vary. I would suspect, just looking at that one, that one's probably like an A3 or an A5, so a smaller piece. But he's been doing a lot of 11 by 17s. I mean, Carl has been picking up some cover recreations that Mannix has done at the last few shows, both at NYCC and San Diego, and they've all been impressive. So,
okay. Annihilation Conquest. Look at that splash.
So, might as well get something splashy. And then for anyone in the chat who does not know Ian Saint, go check out his gallery. Ian is an example of one of those young collectors that when you look at his gallery, you'd think he'd been doing this for 10 or 15 years. He's got a very tight focus with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's very tightly focused on the modern era of Guardians of the Galaxy. And his both skill and luck in chasing down the prime pieces of character first appearances, first time the team is assembled, major plot points throughout the modern Guardians era is a level of collection curation that belies the 3 or 4 years that Ian's been doing this. And so this splash, in addition to just looking fantastic, also is tied to a gallery of a great young collector out there.
Good dude, man. Very, very nice. Okay.
Super cool.
And then Kavi posted up this piece, and I thought, why not throw something sort of seasonal and Halloweeny? So, yeah, this one, check that box there.
Oh, I didn't. Oh, yeah, I did. Okay. Just want to make sure. I don't want to miss anyone. Bernie Wrightson. Horror. I mean, there you go.
Yep, I think this is a good example. Some artists come big ticket. So if you want an example, sometimes you have to settle for a prelim or a sketch or something if you want to fill that hole. And you can still select nice pieces that are very representative of the artist and some of the genres they're known for, if you're selective in what you chase. And Kavi picked a good one here.
All right, I am actually forwarding, if he wants to jump in, the link to Larry so that I can hear Larry's critique if he wants to jump in.
He's probably watching a football game. He's got one screen and football game on the other.
Okay. All right. I mean, this was fantastic. This was fantastic. This had the whole crew.
Is that Starlin?
It's Jim Starlin. So why'd you pick this one, Jeff? Jeff is speechless. Yes, he's speechless. It just blew his senses.
Appropriate response.
Oh, here I'm gonna make him full size. This will be awkward. Oh. All right. Well, I will talk for Jeff while he freezes and or unfreezes. I will remove him and let him jump back in. But you guys saw this piece from the drop. I thought it was one of the nicest pieces from that particular dealer's drop. Of course, we know the guy who got it. It's in his galleries, Fish Benz. Fish is a big cosmic guy. He's usually more of a vintage cosmic guy. But when he saw, Thanos and all those characters done so well, he jumped on it immediately. So really, really happy that he was able to pick it up.
This is one I wasn't sure if it was new or old. I thought it was vintage originally and then found out after that it wasn't. But it's got, I feel like, all the vintage vibes that you would want in a Starlin piece.
Yeah, only cost half a Sabretooth cover. Colby. All right. And wrong button. And then no, that was Jeff's 5. So who picked Darkhawk? Was this George?
This was one of my picks, yeah.
Is Rob trying to wave goodbye? He's on mute. He's like,
what's that?
Yeah.
I'm on mute because I'm crunching on my chips.
Oh.
You're like waving, like trying to get our attention. I'm like,
All right. So are we on your picks, George?
Sure. I mean, this one, I'll admit, did not read this part of the Darkhawk run, but this was just an epic 4 connecting covers with a lot of story, a lot of characters. I was like, how can we not pick this one? And Rob's here to show it off, so even better.
It's back.
Tell us about this one.
What's that?
Tell us about this one, Rob. Wow. I mean, I don't see a CGR on here anywhere. I don't see a
CGR. No.
So why this cover?
So when I was a kid, the first comics I ever bought were Iron Man and Darkhawk comics, like in the early 90s. And so I actually bought a Darkhawk cover from Wolby Rob at last OAX, and that kind of kicked me off into a different rabbit hole of collecting. I tend to try to collect multiple examples of a character or an artist. And after I bought that one, I was like, there's 3 covers I really liked when I was a kid. One was the one I bought first. Another one was Darkhawk 32, which was actually also at OAX. Cool Lines had it. Carl actually helped me get that one, so I got that one now. And the only one I didn't know where it was that I loved as a kid was Darkhawk number 24. I had no idea that it was part of a connecting cover series, because I don't actually think I had the other 3 covers as a kid. I just had the 24 is the last of these 4. And I just thought it was a cool, like, bad guy in armor with a helmet, kind of like Boba Fett, Darth Vader kind of thing, which I grew up watching tons of Star Wars. Mike Manley is the artist who did these, and he posted it for offers pretty recently on CAF, and I immediately reached out and was fortunately able to get this. And then I also got the corner box art for Darkhawk as well, so it was pretty cool. And it's again, I don't know how well people can see it behind me, but it's on 2.
Hold on. What we got you?
It's on 2 boards, which I actually didn't realize that when I got it. I thought it was going to be on 4 boards, but it's on 2 roughly DPS size boards. They're like 20 by 17 or so. I think they're probably 22 by 17. It looks like he cut the margin off in the middle for the 2 connecting covers. So planning to get that framed and on the wall sometime in the near future.
Yeah, so cool, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good times.
I love those big ass connecting covers. One of my favorites. I like when they do that with the 3 and 4 and 5 and 6. It's awesome.
I know you've got quite a few there, Rob, Wolby fan. So we'll be able to see this in the gallery at the next Heroes, right?
Yes, I should be up. I think I have to get it restored first. There's a tiny tear that I didn't know about, and I want to get that fixed before I get it framed. It's like really small, but just before it goes into a frame, I want to get that fixed.
Archival tape, man. Just throw it on the back. I got it. All right. What do we got here, George?
This is one I'll thank Chris Nork for introducing me to this artist, because I did not know this artist before. Just thought it was a super cool perspective, lots of detail, really cool use of halftones, zip tones. I don't know, just really cool Punisher piece. I'm a sucker sometimes for the silent moments where they're just kind of hanging out in their layer of stuff. As I think we do as collectors, looking at everyone's background.
Awesome, man. Oh, it's gorgeous. I do like the zip tone. It's got all the Punisher stuff you want. You got guns. You got a scowl. That's it. That's Punisher. All right. What do we pick here? Fireclaw. Not saying I'm too familiar, but it is an Arthur Adams piece.
I know nothing about this character, but you know I'm a sucker for character designs, concept art, studies. This was, from reading the description, Adams had a set of a bunch of monster designs, I think, at New York Comic Con. This was one that the collector bought. Thought it was a cool mix of Tony the Tiger, Godzilla, and Wolverine. And it's Art Adams.
Larry, why do you hate this piece?
And it's Larry.
Larry's shown up to critique.
I don't have any real comments about this one. I think I've.
No, it's of course it's Art Adams, right? So everything is detailed, everything is done very, very well. Not too familiar with the character, but this is your thing. If Fireclaw you're a fan of, then you can't really get much better than Art Adams.
I mean, if I remember right, because I think I saw when Jason got this, it wasn't priced very high because it's an unknown character. It has all the Art Adams details. So there was probably maybe 7 pages of this. They were all maybe 1,000 or 2,000. I mean, they were really affordable. So at the time, and a remark is $500 too. So 1,000 for that's a good bargain.
All right, this is my pick without the Punisher in it, since I think all the other ones except for the Adams have the Punisher as well. I mean, I picked this strictly because it's just badass art with James Hetfield, a skull and lightning.
Go forth and
He-Man reference.
That's what I thought too. Castle Grayskull. I have the power. Yeah, definitely.
Is this a cover? Really? Oh, I guess. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, they did. I don't think this was a big 2 comic, but there was a Metallica kind of biography comic, it looked like.
What are your guys' favorite Metallica songs? Got chat and panel crew.
One.
Sandman.
Actually, Fade to Black. I changed my choice.
Metallica folded after Ride the Lightning.
Nothing Else Matters is my favorite one.
Yeah,
sad but true. There's too many.
Has Hetfield's movie come out yet?
Didn't know he had one coming out.
Wind
Yeah, he's in
Chimes?
a Western.
So it's not a autobiography. He's acting in a movie.
He is acting. I believe he plays a sheriff.
Really? All right, I'm gonna have to Google that while we're.
One for me. I was on the same page as Rob. All right, so this is your last one. Another Punisher. That's a good Punisher, though. That's a good Punisher. What do we got going on here?
I realized after I picked a lot of Punisher stuff, but I saw this posted. I'm like, Jim Lee Punisher, had to pick it. Just great action, great shots of Punisher, great close up at the bottom there.
I mean, if you want a Jim Lee Punisher, page without having a break. I don't know what they cost. I guess I can ask Daryl, but it's just a good page. It's action, it's guns, it's shooting, it's dead people. Punisher. He's punishing.
I think a Jim Lee Punisher page is cheaper than a head sketch.
Probably. And this might not be popular.
Or Nerdcrawler auction.
I really love how the pasted on stats have yellowed. I think from a visual standpoint, it's a really cool contrast with the art. I don't know if anyone will agree with that, but
I agree.
I really dig that.
It's a what's a patina? Is that the right pronunciation?
I think so.
The sepia filter on it on the word bubbles.
That works too.
Patina sounds good.
Yeah. So now we got. Oh yeah, so this is mine.
I was gonna say I have no idea who posted this one, but I know Michael Turner's a great artist.
Who the hell chose this one?
You know what? I'm gonna like it though.
You can't like your own post.
Yeah,
I
never like my own stuff.
What happened with this one? Just kind of. So I've always really liked Michael Turner's art, but Michael Turner's art, mostly top, right? And so I was collecting most Marvel, DC, Big Two, even though he had some DC covers and some rare Marvel. But every time I looked at Michael Turner's art, and some of the Big Two, when I was collecting DC, it was always just too much more expensive than I was willing to spend. But it was just absolutely gorgeous. So, I wanted to get a good piece. Again, just a priority from a budget perspective. And then a friend of mine who is unfortunately getting out of the hobby for the most part, some absolute grails. And I'm like, well, here's my opportunity to grab some Turner grails at a reasonable market rate. Not cheap, but a reasonable market rate, and just kind of knock that Turner itch right out. So this is one of the 3 Turner pieces that I got. This is the one I was going for the entire time. Full figure of Sarah in armor, going against Ian, perfectly framed, and the detail on the sword and the clothing. It was just the perfect Turner piece for me. So
it's great, man.
Is that why you picked it, Rob?
That's exactly why I picked it.
There you go.
Classic piece.
All right. This one made me uncomfortable, but that's what it's designed to do.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm gonna
What's uncomfortable about it? Sure.
That's how you know it's art with a capital A.
It's the cloudy stuff in the back. No. What? So tell me about this one, Rob.
Yeah, no, so this is Ian Bertram. I assume it's an artist choice commission, but not positive. There's one of the additional images shows how big it is. It's pretty massive. I just love Ian Bertram's commission pieces. I think he does a fantastic job. I mean, there's kind of a surreal aspect to it. Obviously, some kind of body horror elements to this one as well. Just kind of so very kind of delving into the realm of fine art and kind of crossing the line between comic art and fine art. I think kind of makes you think, kind of makes you wonder about it, kind of disturbs you, like you said, James, and just, I think, provocative and interesting.
Yeah, for something to like generate a reaction, an emotional reaction. I mean, it's a fantastic piece.
Jill, would you buy this if that was Wonder Woman?
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
I
would buy it if it was Sabretooth.
It's her face. She's clearly not happy. That's what does it for me.
But scroll down, James. Like, go to the additional image on it. Where,
okay. I was like, do I need to scroll down? Okay.
Yeah, right there. Like,
what?
Holy
wow!
Wow! It's like full size.
Life size.
Yeah.
That creeps me out even more.
Yeah, Rob, that doesn't help your case. That's creepy.
No, I mean, I would never buy this piece. I just think it's a really interesting and neat piece. Happy for the person who owns it. I hope they put it in the creepiest place possible.
Rob, it would look nice in your foyer.
Yeah.
I mean, from a technical perspective and art perspective, it's incredibly well done. Like, the line work is insane on this thing.
What do you ask? Was that just artist choice? And then
I'm assuming so. Does it say if you click out of this that he posted or he or she posted as a commission?
Brian's comment.
Is this wall power or is this?
Probably. That's what Felix would say, I'm sure.
Is Hall Power the next step up to Wall Power?
Bed power.
I like it.
All right. Oh, look at this one. Whoever bought this one was pretty happy.
This is pretty fantastic piece. Obviously, that goes without saying. I'm a huge fan of Mike Mignola. You probably wouldn't know it based on my gallery, but I mean, I'm a big fan of Hellboy. Love Triumph and Torment is one of my favorite Marvel comics. So it was all a great Mignola cover posted. So I had to highlight this one as well. I think I find this one really entertaining too, because he's done the same layout as he's done with a lot of his covers, like his Hellboy covers in particular, where you have a central character, like normally Hellboy on the Hellboy covers with sort of floating heads or other characters around it as well. So kind of neat to see a Batman cover done in Mignola's signature style.
Yeah, just fantastic. Now, you know what's so funny is Nick has so much art. It's such a great collection. We think we might do a GoFundMe for a decent scanner. What do you think? Or no, the CAF app. It's going to be able to scan into the CAF app directly, Nick.
I don't think a GoFundMe is going to help, because clearly he can afford a scanner. We need some other sort of intervention.
You just need to get workers. He has workers.
Right. So the thing is, I think Nick took this photo while he was at the Mignola show, and he hasn't gotten it back for Amy to scan it yet.
And can I ask someone that knows more about DC than I do? Isn't this kind of a bookend piece? Like, didn't Mignola do something in the original Death in the Family with Robin dying, and this is like Robin's return, Death in the Family? Something along those lines.
I was the same thing. I have no idea what this is. Like, are they retelling the story? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on here.
Oh.
Either way, cool connection.
Nick, the app, the new CAF app. Once you get it, you can take the pic and you can manipulate it and throw it right on CAF. So we need a better scan, buddy. That's a gorgeous piece.
But it's for the new series, so it's not something old there, apparently.
Well, yeah, I was thinking it's like a bookend from the old series to the new series.
That sounds right. I mean, obviously the Joker on there is a homage to the old cover.
Yeah, the professor chimed in for us and gave us the answer there in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyone guess who owns this cover before we go and look?
Number one Gru fan?
Number one Gru fan.
But this is the number 2 cover. I was going to say he might be the number 2 fan. Whoever's got the number 1 cover might have him beat. But
number 2 art's a whole different show.
Yeah.
Still a family show, guys.
Yeah. This is a family channel. So, all right, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the cartooning style for Sergio Aragonés is pretty phenomenal. I mean, this is obviously a fantastic and early example from Gru. Not sure I even realized Duke had picked this up, but just saw it when I was scrolling through the weekly posts and had to highlight it. I mean, it's a significant piece from a phenomenal artist and a phenomenal series.
Yeah. I'll tell you, talking to Dan, he's, excited about winning this on the HA auction, but not put too much into it, but he actually didn't win. But the person who did reneged or backed out of it. And so he got a second chance. So I guess that happens on HA too. So
congrats.
Someone raised his bid probably. That's nice.
I know. Yeah, he kind of argued, well, if they, weren't really serious, why would my bid? But that didn't go anywhere. Heritage just like, you want it or not?
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, I know Gru, read a little bit of Gru, but when I saw like Serge Aragonés's interviews on CAF and other places, and how much of a treasure that man is, my appreciation for all of his art grew exponentially. But just really nice stuff. Really nice stuff. So, he was number 2, Marcus, but he got the piece anyway. All right. Cosmic powers. Yeah, I thought Rick Bricklock, he needs to get a premium membership or something, because a piece like this doesn't need to be a tiny little image. But
yeah, sorry for not picking one with a better image attached to it. But kind of had to pick this one too. I'm obviously a huge fan of cosmic characters and comics. Love Thanos, Surfer, and Castellani is a enormously talented artist. I always love when I see his pieces pop up, and it's got that 90s, early 2000 like really bombastic flair to it that just makes it really pop, and tons of detail, like just incredible line work on it. So I had to highlight this one when I was scrolling through and I saw this. I don't think Castellani's done a lot of work either, so it's kind of a treat to see his pieces pop up.
You're munching on chips. What do you think about this one, Wolfie fan?
I don't know crap about the newer guys. I know it's late 90s, early 2000s. Claudio Castellini, I didn't even know he was an artist, to be quite honest with you. A friend of mine, showed me some art of his maybe 3 weeks ago. He was looking to buy it, and he told me some of the prices, and it blew my mind. It's a beautiful piece, but I'm the wrong guy to ask about this. I apologize, man.
If I remember correctly, this was originally in Bill Wu's collection when the collector brought it out of there, and then, of course, it eventually ended up in Rick Whitlock, who we all know is a massive, massive soldier.
I think it bounced around like 2 or 3 times. I mean, it's still a beautiful piece. It's hard to believe someone sold it, but maybe people keep getting offers they can't refuse.
Yeah.
But no, I feel the same way like Rob does. Castellani, I mean, I know of his work, but I mean, when I was in the 90s reading comics, it wasn't a name that I was familiar with.
Right. Didn't he do some Marvel stuff also?
Yeah, exactly. That's my biggest familiarity with Castellini is the Marvel versus DC or DC versus Marvel books that he did with Jurgens. So I'm kind of okay. Well, last 5. This is Jill. Had to be a Brereton because I think you guys are buddies, but it's still a great one.
Yes, Dan Brereton is. I love him. He's a personal friend, and I have tons of art by him. But I mean, I'm sorry. We're in October. He's just the quintessential Halloween artist. I'm sorry. I will not be taking comments at this time. That is just the damn truth. Everything he does comes out looking like it belongs on a Halloween themed novel. So I just thought that this piece was great and fun and a nice composition and a good use of color, even though it's nighttime apparently. But anyway, I just like this one a lot. I don't even know this collector, A. Williams, but good job, man. That was a really good pickup.
Yeah, I believe he has a pretty decent collection. Oh, he's got 10. He's a seller.
I think A. Williams is a female.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I think I met her in OEX. If I'm thinking about it. Right.
Larry, do you like that piece? Do you like that Brereton piece?
Oh, yeah. Larry.
I'm a Shadowcat fan, so yeah. Mm-hmm. But Dan is one of the few that delivers on his Patreon, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Was that the one that hasn't got you the commission yet, Jill?
No, absolutely not. No, I have lots of art by Dan, and he's great. And he actually fulfills all of his Kickstarters.
Yeah.
Kitty's always a solid commission choice because you almost always get Lockheed as a bonus.
Absolutely. So it's like getting 2 figures for the price of 1.
Yep.
I already asked Larry what he thought of it.
I usually like Kitty Pryde, but sometimes they have Kitty Pryde like going through like Colossus's body, and sometimes it's just too weird for me. Like they'll have her head like coming out of his stomach. It was just like, what?
the branch is technically going through her leg. Does that ook you out?
No. It's just when she's walking through Colossus, it's kind of strange.
Kama Sutra, buddy. Check it out, Larry.
Hey, you are newlywed.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the next we have dominatrix art, I guess.
Nice.
Hey, Jason should not have hopped off. This is a Jason piece, and I mean,
you can jump back on.
It's still October.
Yeah.
This is a great piece for.
That's beautiful.
Too kinky for Larry. Love it.
No, I told Jason to buy it. I said I wasn't going to bid on it until Jason buy it. So
who's the artist?
Whoever wrote this? Doesn't know Larry.
Rob, I think it's Mike Mayhew.
This is Mike
It is
Mayhew.
Mayhew. Yeah.
He just doesn't miss, right? I mean, this is, the lighting on this is great. The pose is great. The background is great. The color is great. It's great. I mean, I'm unlike Wolvie fan. I don't care what year it was done. To me, just good art is good art, no matter what year it was drawn. And so I think this one's like supposedly around 2014, but this is just a pretty one.
That's beautiful. I got to tell you, that's really nice.
Hey, Jill, what do you think's behind the door?
Emma Frost.
Oh, okay.
A baby gorilla.
Moodang. What do you want me to say? Did you want me to say something particular?
I have no idea. Just curious.
Oh. Well, I mean, Hellfire Club, right? The Emma and they hang out. So I'm gonna guess her. She's coming over to drink some wine, right? That's funny, right?
All right.
That's where Bill is.
Oops. Red room. There you go.
Oh,
okay.
that's a good one too.
The Crash Goblin.
Right?
We got.
It's all good fun. Alberto, I let you in, man. This one I just thought was super fun. It's Bob Layton. I like the motion lines on it, the multi characters on it. You got to scroll back up to the art. The vehicles that are on it. I mean, I've been in the auto industry for over 20 years, so the car at the bottom kind of like clinched it for me. I mean, this one's just fun. I don't know much about the characters or the book itself, but I just thought this one was fun.
Did any of you guys watch Gatchaman?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't
Yep.
think
Actually, I had picked this as one of my alternates that I sent to James in case two of us had picked the same piece.
Okay. I don't think anybody under 50 has seen Gatchaman. I don't know. I mean,
I'm under 50, so that's probably
exactly. I mean, I haven't seen it.
Well, thanks for outing me, Larry.
Sorry.
All right.
We're getting an education. It's called Battle of the Planets back then. Okay.
Battle of the Planets.
Yeah, when it ran in the U.S., that's the title it ran under.
Damn, that was a great
There's a new series
cartoon back in the day. Oof.
Yep.
I'm sure Alberto can tell us. There's a new series now they're doing with Gatchaman. I know Tommy Lee Edwards is working on it. Yep.
This piece is for that new series, so yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the guy in top looks really fat. How's he flying like that?
Superpowers, man.
Okay.
Really? That's
All
your
right.
issue, Larry? That is like what you can't get your head around in that whole
Yeah.
If you had a cool helmet and a speed suit, you'd fly too.
Is that their superpowers that they can like all fly like really fast?
Probably. I don't know. Alberto could tell us.
Yeah, I was asking Darth Kekon.
Oh.
I don't. No, not really fast was a thing, but
Okay.
All right. Western Ghost Rider.
I mean, I picked this one even before I knew it was Khalil's. I mean, and I'm sorry I beat Rob to kind of a Ghost Rider piece. Sorry, not sorry. I'm a sucker for horses. The lighting on this is fabulous. Like, what are you gonna do? It's just gorgeous, right? So this is by Edison Neo, who I'm honestly not familiar with, but that's the joy of CAF, right? You get to go on and see like beautiful pieces and like, hey, maybe I should look into getting like Wonder Woman on a horse from the sky. Like, this is amazing. Oh.
I hope the horse is on fire if you get Wonder Woman on a horse.
The what's on fire, Larry?
The horse Wonder Woman should be on a horse on fire like this one.
I'm not into cruelty to animals, so I might pass on the fire part. But
I like the internal flame, basically highlighting the bones of the skeleton of the horse.
Yeah.
And then on the gun, the little skull that's on the detail on the gun. But like that effect of the seeing the skeleton through the skin is pretty cool.
Is this a character or is it just a random?
I think it's the Western Ghost Rider, right?
It's Western Ghost Rider.
Oh, okay.
It's not just Cosmic Ghost Rider. There's different versions of Ghost Rider. I mean, I don't.
All right.
Go ahead, Rob, if you.
Yeah, I'm not positive. Like, there's the old like Western Ghost Rider, but I don't think it's like from the 60s, but I don't, or 50s even, but I don't think it's that one.
There she is.
I'm not positive which one it is.
There's also a fat flying Ghost Rider, but Larry doesn't know about that one either. He's biased.
Yeah.
Didn't the Western Ghost Rider have a mask?
Yeah, that's why I don't think it's the old 50s one.
Oh, okay.
Because that one's got a mask. So
Okay. Still creative. Give him. Still like it.
It's a fantastic piece. I love the motion of the arms and like the gun kind of coming out to the side. It's got good motion to the entire piece.
You don't even mask if your skull is on fire.
All right. Wonder Woman and her paddle. Here you go.
Yeah, okay. I can't put in a show and Wonder Woman piece that's actually pretty nice and not pick it. Okay, if you're gonna play to the judge, this is the kind of piece that I'm gonna always pick. So this is actually on the artist page. It's for sale. So if somebody wants to swoop in and get this from under me, you're okay.
Okay.
But anyway, I haven't read the new book yet. I'm sorry. I don't know what the deal is with the magic type sword. I'm sorry. I'm failing all of you for that. But, Absolute Wonder Woman is just one of those books that is kind of a kickstart to her again. This is a new series for Absolute Wonder Woman. But I think the art that I've seen for all of it, especially the covers and the variant covers have been amazing. Dan Panosian killed his Absolute Wonder Woman cover. So this piece I just thought was nice and fun, and she looks like she's going to kick your ass. So it's great.
So we all know, and unfortunately, it's just the nature of the world, and hopefully it's getting better. There's a gender pay gap, right? So if Absolute Batman goes for $70,000, how much does Absolute Wonder Woman go for?
Not that much.
I think it was like
Is this Panosian?
No, it
What?
is.
Oh, it's okay. Is that okay? All right. I don't know who that is, but okay.
Yeah. This
right.
I think there were maybe two Wonder Woman pieces that I could pick from in our date range we were looking at. So
And
this is, to clarify, this is an Inktober piece. I don't think this is a published.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
But this artist has been posting a bunch of stuff to CAF. New name to me, but some really cool Inktober pieces.
You dropped the chips.
You're so good
Wow.
at chips.
Oh.
But yeah, George, you're right.
Right.
But I am what I'm loving about the new series, and it's Absolute Superman, Absolute Batman, Absolute Wonder Woman. A lot of the published covers have just been killer. Clearly DC went to these cover artists and said, "Hey, bring your A game," and it's really showing. But I'll, as much Wonder Woman art can be out there, I'm a fan. So I was happy to see this piece. It looked pretty cool to me.
Awesome. All right. Well, the next, the final kind of leg of our events, we're going to do first. I've got a Nick's promo video for the EXP coming up on tomorrow, and I'm going to. Well, I can't do a presentation without a Slido, but this one should be fun. So let me go ahead and fire up Nick's video. I'll get the Slido up, kind of let you know what's going on there.
Is this going to midnight too? Jeez.
No, dude.
Everybody, this Friday, October 25th, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, the original art experience. And man, it must be Wednesday because I'm in a blue shirt, not a black. So running late this week, so don't have as much art ready as I'd like, but I will have some blockbuster pricing, okay? So it's going to be amazing, dynamite, dynamic, every cool word you can think of. Not we are in the only cool world, but any cool word you can think of. So we're going to have JSA number 12, page 2 and 3 by Dale Eaglesham and Roy Jose. And look how gorgeous that is. Really cool page. Then we're going to have this Doc Savage by
Damn it, James.
Howard Porter and Art Seabear. This Magog by Howard Porter and John Dell. This Green Lantern Corps by Fernando Pasarin.
Hold on, no, we're going to go back. My bad. I pulled up the
Every
Slido.
cool word
All right.
you can think of.
Now we got Nick
We are in
again.
the only cool world, but any cool word you can think of. So we are going to have JSA number 12, page 2 and 3 by Dale Eaglesham and Roy Jose. And look how gorgeous that is. Really cool page. Then we're going to have this Doc Savage by Howard Porter and Art T. Bear. This Magog by Howard Porter and John Dell. This Green Lantern Corps by Fernando Pasarin and Scott Hanna. Then we're going to have this Sensational Spider-Man by Sean Chen and Scott Hanna. Then we're going to have this Original Sin number 3.1 Hulk by Mark Bagley and Drew Hennessy. Then we have what may be one of the last John Romita Jr. covers I have on the air. Check it out. It is so gorgeous. John Romita Jr. and Scott Hanna. We have this commission by Bob Layton. Then we have this Dale Eaglesham Hero. I don't know what this is too, but it's just pretty. And I tell you what, I'm going to bring it in for under $100 because it is pretty. Then I got classic Spawn art by Angel Medina and Danny Mickey, Spawn 103. Somebody got it wrong. But then Amy pulled out some really cool commission cover art, including from Ken Hazer. Check it out. Cyclops doesn't get enough love. You know what? Amy said, let's give Cyclops some love. So we are. So this Friday, October 25th, all treats, no tricks, some really great pricing. The original art experience. Please hit that thumbs up. Share. Sharing is caring. Check it out. Look forward to being seen by you then. Have a great one, everybody.
All right. Hold on.
I think I missed half the art, you know.
No, you didn't. Shut up.
Hey, at least you didn't get bounced off like I did. So.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've never ran the video, and Bill's like, "Hey, you need to run this video because I can't upload it." And I'm like, "All right, give it a shot." So,
Nick, you're gonna need to sell more art to cover that cover purchase. So.
Yeah, but you know, it'll get a scanner for you. So this is what we're gonna do. I have got the quiz function on Slido. So it will be a 10-question multiple choice quiz that you guys will answer. The winner will get the Art Adams sketch card, unless you want one of the other ones, which I don't know why you would. Now, a couple caveats to it. When you enter your name, you need to enter your YouTube screen name. If you make something up, if you want to be funny, that's fine. But if you win, you don't get the card. Second, because of the lag between StreamYard and the app, I'm going to do a quick 5-second countdown before I advance to the next question, because the questions are not only who gets the right answer, but who gets the fastest answer, right? And CEOs aren't eligible. So we're going to go ahead and give this a shot and kind of see how it goes. So let me do my screen share. Give me a second.
So Rob is watching a movie, apparently.
My entire computer probably crashes on us again. That's okay.
We believe in you, James. You do it.
Let's go. Here we go. Add to stage. Blank screen. Perfect. Let's go ahead and advance one. Oh. There you go. All right. This is how Slido works. So go ahead and panelists don't count. If you guys, screen capture with your phone, I advise you to use your cell phones. Log in on Slido, put in the name that you want to show up and participate in the contest for. It's an Art Adams sketch card. There's Alberto Gonzalez. There you go. We got one player. Is Alberto going to win by default? Khazra. All right. And no, Derek is the comic encyclopedia. Ooh, we got some strong competition here.
No points for signing up the fastest, Alberto. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, you do get points for. Oh no, signing up the fastest. You're right.
Signing up the fastest. No.
No. All right. Anyone else? I've got 20 players. That's pretty awesome. We're going to wait about 15 more seconds.
Alberto's on that iPhone 16. He gets on pretty quickly. Apple Intelligence just knew how to get on.
And I'm sure there's going to be some here that's going to wreck everything, and I'm going to eat a bunch of crow. But we'll see how it works. All right, 25 players, counting five more seconds. All right, so again, there's going to be a delay between what you see on YouTube and what you see on your app. So when you hear me start counting down from 5, look at your app because the question will refresh. And again, it's whoever's right and whoever's fastest gets the most points. Okay, you guys ready? 5. Question 1. Lex Luthor first appeared in what issue? I'll let the panel guess. You got 15 seconds, by the way.
I have literally never thought about this before.
Wasn't it Batman #1?
Not a choice, Larry.
Cosmic Ghost Rider 3.
So we've got 33% says Action Comics 8, 25 Superman 1, 38 Action Comics 23, and 4%. Which one do you guys think it is?
Superman 1.
Number 8.
All right, the answer is Action Comics number 23. So,
wow.
Leaderboard, Jason, really?
What?
Okay.
Wow.
Jason buys DC apparently. Yeah.
All right.
This whole time.
Again, I'm going to watch your phones. So 5.
What's my phone?
Before becoming a foe to Spider-Man, Mysterio was what?
Is that supposed to be a fishbowl cleaner?
Fishbowl
Oh,
clear.
yeah, whatever. It's not the right.
No, he was just a clear fishbowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Hollywood effects maker, fortune teller, fishbowl clear. Oh, we got a fishbowl. Okay. What do you guys think? What's your guesses?
Hollywood effects maker.
I mean, I've seen the movie. I haven't read the book, but I've seen the movie.
Yeah, Hollywood effects. So what do we got? Jason 2 for 2.
Jason.
All right.
Still 9
Go on to
questions.
the next one. Watch your phones. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I realized you couldn't see me before. Sorry about that. All right. Forge and Storm kindled a romantic relationship in their quest to defeat who? The adversary, Mr. Sinister, Apocalypse, or Shadow King?
That's a Jason question. He'll know.
Who the hell is the adversary?
He's the X-Men solution.
Adversary, Mr. Sinister. What are our guesses? Any X-Men 97 fans? He was in the cartoon.
I would have said Mr. Sinister.
Was it adversary?
Hold on.
Probably is.
You.
Syphilis.
All right. The answer is the adversary. It was a big owl thing in the X-Men 97.
Yeah.
Was that the same as the comics?
Oh, look at that. Derek's
Ooh.
up. And they're tied on time, so it might be the microseconds. So
Wow.
we still got a lot of 2 for 3s. A lot of you guys are still in it. You know, they missed one, and that's it. Oh, no. Oh, crap. Answer fast.
Spoilers.
What?
Hawkeye.
Ninja Turtle, this didn't work out, did it? Do you have a...
They have options on Slido?
I think so. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Wow, that's pretty spread across. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys know who the last Ronin was?
It was Michelangelo.
It was Michelangelo. All right. So what do we got? Oh, Derek. Derek takes the lead. Jason missed one.
Jason doesn't know his turtles. Disappointing you, Jason.
Derek's the only one who got 4 out of 4.
Now I'm going to switch it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Harley Quinn was the Joker's what before becoming his sidekick?
Oh, that's
Come on
easy.
now.
That should be 100%, right?
I don't know. You'd be surprised with the distributions.
Like, aren't all these answers actually technically wrong? Isn't she like a psychiatrist?
No, Dr. Harley Quinzel. She's a doctor.
She's a psychiatrist.
She's a psychiatrist.
Damn, you guys are elitists. I consider those doctors.
Not the same degree, man.
James started with the fastball, and then now is all softball since.
You'd be surprised. Derek's still in the league. He's an encyclopedia, guys. That's going to be a tough one, but we got it.
Yeah, I was going to say Derek's got to get
we're going to switch.
Podiatrist.
Gymnast. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wolverine. All right. Softball, right? And you can see the answers on there. What nationality?
That's easy.
Yeah. Well, we haven't seen his 23andMe.
He's French, right?
Asian.
Yes. Yes.
He sounded Australian.
Oh, man. That was a. Hey, whoever did Australian, good for you. Good for you. But it's, again, you got to go fast. Derek's still, I promise it'll get a little tougher. It'll get a little tougher. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who was the only salaried mutant team working for the Pentagon in the 90s?
Why is the Pentagon in quotation marks?
I don't know. I copied
It's not a real thing.
Looks like
Maybe it was a fake Pentagon in the comics. I don't know.
Right now.
What do you guys think? Excalibur, X Factor, X Force, or X Men?
I'm guessing it's X Factor. Some people picked it.
I wish it was Excalibur.
Yeah, it was X Force. All right, we got 4 to go. Derek's still in the lead. We can't shake that dude. Can't somebody give Derek a call on his phone on the next one? So we got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Who is the primary leader of the superhero group Birds of Prey?
Oh shit! I just picked the wrong one.
Did you just watch this movie, Larry?
No, I read the comics.
I was going to say it's different in the comics than the movie, isn't it?
Yeah,
I picked the wrong one.
It's Harris Syndulla standing in the back there.
Harley Quinn, Black Canary, Huntress, or Oracle? What does the panel say?
Oracle.
It's Oracle. I always forget Oracle's on the team because she can't fight.
Oracle.
She actually can fight. She fights from her wheelchair.
Derek?
Exactly.
She changed her name to Orifice in the new system.
Derek's still rocking it. All right. 3 more questions. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The X Mansion is located in which state? By the way,
Jersey.
I'm getting this for the holiday.
Looks like the Netherlands based on this.
In the
It's
comic
Independence Hall in Philadelphia, right?
Jersey.
What do we think? Oh, New York, New Jersey, New Hampshire, New Mexico.
Would have been hard if you said the city. That would have been better.
All right. It is New York. It is New York.
What are you doing?
This might be a clean sweep. Let's see. All right. 2 more. 2 more. 5, 4. Yeah. New York and New Jersey are basically the same thing. 3, 2, 1. Which one is not a Hulk color?
Rainbow Hulk.
Yeah. Which one wasn't a color of a Hulk in the comics?
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Finally.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Oh, sorry.
Wasn't me this time.
Red, yellow, blue, orange. What guesses do we got?
Wow, it's pretty evened out.
Who the hell knows?
I picked yellow.
I thought it was blue.
I'll go blue because I think he's a fall.
Yellow, Ella. Yellow. You think Derek got this one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Last
Jason's
question.
doing pretty good.
Maybe it'll trip him up. But again, it's time and everything. So last question. Let's see if Derek gets it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. When is OAX?
Ooh, that's an easy one.
Yeah.
Right now.
Calling it now. Derek is winning.
It should be 100%, right?
I don't know. We'll see how Casper's marketing has been going.
I bet, yeah. Derek probably took the whole time just because he knew what the answer was.
It's like that dude on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire,
Hmm.
who that final one, he just called his dad just to tell him he won. All right.
Or he's already on the phone trying to change his flights because he picked the wrong dates.
Fortunately, Slido just crashed, so I won't tell you who the winner is. I'm just kidding. So 89%. And congratulations, Derek. Jason.
Well done.
Well,
good job.
Jason number 2. That's actually pretty good. He only missed one.
Yeah, Jason, I'll give you a consolation prize. He can get second pick. How about that? Oh, well.
Jason didn't know the turtle. He missed it because he didn't know Michelangelo was a rodent.
No, Michelangelo. Yeah, we'll just do the one. I don't want to give away all my cards. So I guess it worked out pretty well. Let me remove this.
That was fun.
There you go. Yeah, it was. All right. Well, that was Collector Conversations. Any closing thoughts, closing topics, anything else you guys want to cover?
Which card does Derek want, though?
You can yeah, go ahead and just hit me up on Facebook, Derek.
Oh.
And I can assume, unless he's he is a big DC fan. So I've got, again, Klaus Janson, Superman, Jeff Loeb, Scarecrow, Red Sonja, Juggernaut, and Art Adams. And I got
Congratulations, Derek.
What's that?
I just say congratulations to Derek.
Yeah, I really, yeah, he's our resident encyclopedia. So I got most of these cards at Essential Sequentials at little artist dinner. So that was a pretty fun thing. But that's it. That's Thursday night. Really, really thank everyone from the panel for joining. People popping in, popping out. I think it was a good discussion. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for the chat. And I think it's going to be same Bill and Casper time, same Bill and Casper channel next week. So everyone watching, thank you guys very, very much. Any closing thoughts, or you want to wave goodbye?
Good to see everybody.
Have a great night.
Have a good night. Take care.